Thanks, man. I feel prepared.
Huh?
I feel prepared.
Yeah. You know what? Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we broadcast live Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Guys, we encourage you to join the conversation. This show is for and about you. What we do here, we do for you. It's to empower the small business person, to give you something that you can use that makes you feel good about yourself, feel good about being in business. So if you want to join the conversation, feel free to give us a phone call. You can reach us at 347-857-3958. Again, the number here to the studio is 347-857-3958. And I always say this, Bertrand, but I desperately mean it, that this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action.
I love that because action, you know, I don't know if you watch the UFC at all, but
yes, I love UFC.
They have the.
Then don't hold that against me. I made some comments about Black History Month, and I got a few.
Oh, is that right?
Tart emails,
okay.
Yeah, and I didn't say anything bad. Well, we just made the joke that we create Black history every day, and I guess some people didn't like it.
I create Bertrand McHenry history.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's good to be Irish.
Exactly.
But anyway, tell me about.
They got this reality show, the Ultimate Fighter reality show. They pit two coaches and two teams
against
each other. And Chael Sonnen, who's the mouth of the UFC currently, and a really great fighter, was telling his guys the other day, they were talking about what kind of mindset do they have to go in the ring. He said, you know, I hear a lot of talk about mindset. What's the emotional state you need to be in? Do you need to be hyped up? Do you need to be angry? Do you need to have a black heart? He said, it's this. It's these two things right here. It's action. It's when you get knocked down, do you scramble and get back up? Do you take the back? Do you just lay on your back on the ground and get pounded? Do you stand back up? Action. It's the fighting. It's the punching. It's the doing that gets you through it.
Now, how relative is that to being in business?
Huge.
I mean, because of course, you know, there are a few businesses where you're going to be engaged in mortal combat.
Right.
But nonetheless, it is sort of a combat-esque undertaking. Well, I mean, you're going to be knocked down. You're going to be pushed aside. You got people that are trying to destroy you daily, and competitors. Some of them are called customers and employees.
Exactly. That's the truth.
So the thing is that you want to be in action. You've got to stay in action. Action begets action. Everything, especially in small business, starts with doing.
Doing.
Do nothing, get nothing.
Right.
So I have to say that I agree with that analogy.
I agree too. I mean, the solutions come from action. They
Absolutely.
don't come from sitting and thinking and trying to think your way out of the situation. Just start doing something.
Start doing.
You'll find a solution.
If it's the wrong thing, you'll find that hey, I should be doing something else. But it's better than sitting there and doing nothing.
But you'll only find that out by doing.
By doing.
Yeah.
That's right. So this is the place, guys. We talk about action all the time, and we desperately mean it. I know for myself, where I have lacked in aptitude, skill, acumen, I've made up with in action.
Action and confidence.
And I know that action has definitely made up the gap sometimes when I did not know as much or did not know the right person. My just showing up has impressed someone enough to say, young man, step over here. Let me tell you what you should be doing.
Right.
Let me point you in the right direction, or let me give you a name of someone you can call and go ahead and use my name as well.
Exactly.
It's the doing.
It's the doing. Absolutely. It's magic.
Yeah, it is magic. And you know, you and I, we had a guest on yesterday. Our guest yesterday was Mr. Oscar Payton, who is the CEO and founder of Payton's Blend Coffee. And we started down a road after we finished with Mr. Payton about being in depression and how being in small business can definitely make you depressed. How sometimes we as small business people, we become islands to ourselves. We sort of shy away from others who are employed because we think differently, and we start to feel alone out here.
It's really easy to feel alone because the entrepreneurial journey is something that you usually start by yourself.
Yeah.
And in this country, there's this folklore of I built my business by my bootstraps.
Right. I pull myself up by my own bootstraps.
Self-made man.
Malarkey.
No such thing.
Malarkey.
No such thing.
There's absolutely no such thing. I mean, It's the concentrated efforts of many that help to build the fortunes of a few.
I agree.
So we're going to get into that later on in the show. I don't want to just give everything away in the first. So can you tell that I feel great today?
You feel good.
I feel.
Can I just also say you look marvelous?
Can I return that compliment and say that you yourself look marvelous? If you want to see what Bertrand McHenry and John Cruz look like, feel free to log on to www.cruzandhughes.com. We are both sporting fashions from the 2002 collection. And
I'm going to receive that.
But we do look great today. I must admit that, man. I'm loving the camera. Yeah, I'm loving the gray, man. Yeah, I like that.
Man. I like it on a pale redheaded guy.
Hey, you're my favorite Irishman. Now, Bertrand, before we get started, I always like to start the show out and thank you for coming to be a co-host whenever one of us are out.
No, I love it. Thank you.
You are a huge benefit and team player to what we do, and big supporter, and Urban and I owe you a huge amount of gratitude for that. Let's talk a little bit about what you do. You own a company called Referral Institute,
right?
And tell the good people who may not have seen you on this show dozens of times already what it is that you do and how they can get in touch with you.
Well, that's a great question and a great lead-in, because I do something very, very different from what most people think. When I start talking about what I do, people usually say, oh, I've been doing that for 30 years. Well, I teach referral marketing, not networking so much, but referral marketing, and systems that will help you predict your income based off your referral marketing efforts. And that's very, very different than just going out there and networking.
And you know, before I met you, I would say that I didn't even think that was possible.
Right.
To be able to predict or forecast income based on my referral marketing.
Right, and absolutely, when you reduce it to a science, when you take it out of the soft art, which it is, but also to the hard-edged science part of it, which it is, you can absolutely rest in the security of knowing that I can predict my income based off those efforts, just like we've done for years in sales.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Now, who would you say, if anyone, that is a household name that you think is probably one of the best at the art and skill that you teach?
Probably, well, there's a handful. Keith Ferrazzi, who wrote Never Eat Alone,
okay,
Who's Got Your Back. Dr. Ivan Meisner, who founded BNI, Business Network International.
He was an attorney, wasn't he?
He was a consultant.
He was a consultant, okay.
Right. And there's quite a few people here in town. Steve Levine, yourself, Stephen Kay, are some great people in the city of Houston that are huge networkers and understand that concept.
Someone else who I think fits that bill, his name is Paul Harris. He was the gentleman who started Rotary. And I know for a fact that he was an attorney. And this was at a time when attorneys really couldn't advertise their services. He created Rotary as a means to not only give back, but to meet individuals that he could benefit them by, hey, come use my practice, come use my skill. And I think that's a lot along the lines of what you do, is making your referral marketing about someone else first. Is that fair to say?
Man, walk in the door giving is what I like to say.
Absolutely.
How much value can I bring to this experience before I just wipe the seed of thinking, can I get something out of this at the end of the conversation?
Right.
Just walk in the door giving. How much value can I give to this relationship?
And stop worrying about the reciprocation.
Right.
You know, and I believe in that. Keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. Don't worry about where it's coming from. It's definitely coming back. And the relationships that I meet, and I'm genuinely interested in how I can help empower you, how I can help take you or your business to the next. Who do I know that could benefit you?
Keep giving and giving and giving. At some point, we teach you how to activate that, because it's going to become very compelling. People are going to be sitting on their hands trying not to help you.
Absolutely. You know? I mean, because we're wired that way.
Exactly.
All right, when we come back, we're going to get Bertrand's contact information. Guys, stick around. We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the 8 ways to getting over your business depression. We know that being in business can be very exhilarating, very elating, but at the same time, it can be depressing. But we're going to tell you how to avoid those traps and snares. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes, which is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneurs. We offer tips, tools, and strategies each and every month that are guaranteed to help you build your business. If you'd like to get a copy of the magazine that we produce here, you can go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. Put your information in. We'll send you one free each and every month. Stick around. More from Bertrand McHenry and John Cruz right after this.
Clear. Who does the voiceover
For?
On y'all's...
when we come back from break. That's Ron...
Ron Samuels.
Ron Samuels.
Pretty good.
Who you know Don Sams at KCOH? You ever heard of that name? I wonder if he's any Don Samuel actually. I wonder if he's any relation to Ron Samuel.
The car place?
No, the guy who does our voiceover coming back. He's been in radio a long time as well. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Why are you smiling?
I moved your chair.
Oh, it was blocking you? Wow, sorry about that,
Don't
man.
worry about it, producer. Let them sweat in the trenches.
I know, right? Over there running that hot ass board.
On this
1972 laptop.
Oh, well.
With that 350 dual overhead cam engine. You and the food, man. I bet you eat all day long, don't you?
Try not to.
Which wasn't really an answer.
Right.
I've noticed, well, when I'm around, you're eating all the time, and you stay skinny.
I don't know how he does it, man.
I'm not really skinny. Damn. I got a gut.
Oh, wow. I'm going to come in there and hit you in the face.
Right. Yeah, you ain't seen a gut till you seen me stepping out the shower.
I'm wearing Spanx right now.
I know. And then I'm still moderately portly.
I really do want to get.
Coming back. About 30 seconds.
All right.
Let's not talk about Spanx.
I know, right?
I thought about getting that shirt.
That sucks it in. That seems like it would itch like hell. Okay, welcome back to the show. We don't have a guest today, but I do have a different co-host sitting to my left. We have Bertrand McHenry here in the studio today. We talked a little bit about what Bertrand does. Bertrand, can you give your contact information out?
Yes, you can reach me at www.referralinstitutehouston.com or at Bertrand, that's BERTRAND, at referralinstitutehouston.com.
Okay, now can you take clients nationwide?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you're in Modesto, California, all the way to Amityville, New York, give a call to Bertrand and he can definitely help you in your business.
Absolutely, love to.
All right, if you want to call and join the conversation between he and I today, you can feel free to do so at 347-857-3958, or you could go right into the Blog Talk chat room, and we have our producer extraordinaire, Mr. Stephen K, standing by to make certain that your questions get answered. Now, let's talk a little bit about this depression thing, and we're going to kind of overlap a little bit on what we covered yesterday. But let's start there, but then we're going to give them some fresh tips and tools and tricks toward the latter segments. The first one that I believe that helps you overcome the depression is focusing on what makes you happy. And when I say that, I mean what inspires you to be in business for yourself. Get back to those basics. Get back to that it's like when you meet someone who's young and they're fresh out of high school and they tell you all the things that they want to be and a guy like me comes up and says, you know what, you don't have a snowball's chance. Don't be that guy.
You're not that guy.
I'm not that guy, but you got to get back to what makes you happy and focus on that. Identify it. And find those things in your business. I mean, I know there's lots of minutiae that exist around being in business, things that can pull you down, drag you down, take your spirit away. But you got to find what makes you happy and pursue that.
Man, I agree with that because so often you get into business for one reason, and the daily grind of creating revenue weighs on you.
Yes.
And that's you've got to fall in love with that process as well. But you're in business for a reason,
right.
And so that's huge. I mean, the first module in my class, Certified Networker, deals with why do you do what you do? Because people usually aren't in touch with their why.
And many people can't explain that.
They have a hard time reaching it.
Yeah, why do you do this?
So you kind of almost need a coach or someone who's got some skill level in leading you down that path and asking enough questions to have you reveal to yourself what it is. Because once you identify that, your job is now missional.
Yeah.
And you hit the ground every morning fired up because you're on a mission to accomplish something specific, not just be in business.
And when you are helping someone figure that out, Bertrand, is it like peeling back the layers? I mean, because I would think that the first answer that most people would give is for the money. But that's really not the real reason that we do what we do.
How do you know that? Because it's really close to, it's either the money or it's their standard Miss America answer. You know, I want to inspire the world.
Or, you know, I want to help puppies and lost kittens.
Exactly.
You know,
and I used to spend a lot of time with that in the beginning, and now I call BS on it right out of the gates, and I'm kind of harsh with it in the beginning.
Really?
Well, because I need the whole class to understand we're going for something different, and then I got to set about to the work of creating a space in that room where people feel safe enough to start sharing some of their stories.
And you know, and for myself, for the fortunate few that I'll say that I've mentored, and when someone does tell me that, then I know that's not the real reason. So I say, okay, well then let's say you're doing it for the money, but then what are you going to do with the money? And then what does that get you? And then where does that take you? And then and like it's really like peeling back those layers of an onion, and you get down to the fact that, you know, I ultimately want to help someone. I want to stop ignorance in my family by making certain that my children go to college, or, you know, and that's really what the money gets you. So really, that's your why. That's the reason why you do what you do. It's not the money.
Right.
The money is just a byproduct of what you do well.
Yes.
You know, but that's to me, that's just not a big enough why.
Yeah. No, it's not. And it's always something. It's always something. It may not be something tragic, but it's always, it really rocks them. And when they discover it, yeah, and then we craft what we call an emotional-based marketing message, and it's not about a tagline. It's about what's your emotional-based marketing message, and it only needs to rock you. It may sound weird to other people. It just needs to rock you when you say it.
And this is one of the things that you help them develop in your course.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Emotional-based tagline.
Emotional-based marketing message.
Emotional-based marketing message. I'm reducing the title of that. All right, let's go to number 2.
Yep.
Volunteer your time to a worthy cause.
Yeah, you brought that up yesterday, and you had something really interesting to say, because I kind of threw it back at you and said, is it about volunteering because you take your eyes off what you're doing?
No.
Okay.
I think it's more about helping you grasp how blessed you really are. And I had a mentor that told me once that if all your problems could be solved with money, then brother, you ain't got no problems. And when I think about how many people on this planet that money cannot help them improve the quality of their life, now those are real problems in my opinion. Those are issues. And you know, if I'm worried about how I'm going to pay my Mercedes-Benz note, or the mortgage on my you know, $500,000 house, or those aren't problems. And so I think volunteering your time to those who have the biggest need. Go to where the need is great. Go to where these children have been abused, raped, they've lost their parents. Go to a hospice care. Go to a burn unit, and you see that no amount of money that you can give any one of these people can improve the scarring that's been left on them. You start to put things in perspective very quickly, and it just helps you bring the size of your so-called issues and problems down, and you realize that, you know what, I am absolutely okay with where I am today, because I know that I have the health, the vigor, the network, the God-given potential to improve my situation.
I love that. I think you're right on target with that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. You gonna receive that?
I'm going to accept that with open arms. So volunteering your time is a great way for you to be able to understand where you are in life and to be thankful for it. I mean, believe me, I mean, I wouldn't trade my problems with anybody. You know, I love being me. I love the situations that come into my life and that challenge me, and I'm cool with being right here. And I I don't envy anyone else.
Right.
So
yeah, you're content but not satisfied.
Content but not satisfied.
Right.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
All right, let's move on to number 3. And I think we mentioned this in the first segment. And that would be don't become an island. Now, how often do you see someone that's going through something in business? They become a little depressed, and then all of a sudden you don't see them coming around anymore. They don't catch the networking events. They don't come to cigar night on Fridays,
right.
With the group anymore.
Right.
And it's because they're dealing with something, and I don't know why it is that the knee-jerk reaction to most things in life is generally the wrong reaction. So if you're going through an issue as a small business person and you smoke cigars every other Friday night with the guys, and you got a few guys in there who are successful, guys in there who have overcome challenges, why would you unplug and disengage from that? That's probably your time to sink your talents deeper into that network,
right.
and depend on the people who care about you most and who genuinely want to see you succeed. And I'm certain that they would be willing to share their resources, their networks, and their advice with you.
And you're right on. And I'll tell everybody that's listening that what you're saying is counterintuitive, because our intuition, especially as men, but all entrepreneurs deal with it, but especially as men, our intuition says when it gets hard, I need to put my head down and plow like a mule.
Yeah.
And just ignore everything else. And I got this bunker down mentality. So I'm not hanging around with anybody because I'm a little embarrassed being stuck in a jam somehow, and I can't share that with people. And I just need to focus on getting myself out of this. So just
right.
work myself out of it. It's insane.
That's right.
To not plug back into the people who build you up and keep you positive.
Well, and I think having a worker mentality is not a bad thing.
Right.
It's okay to burn the candle, burn the
right.
midnight oil. But at the same time, you have to be equally as engaged. That is the time to become. When my business went down, I disengaged. I made those same mistakes, and it wasn't until after 47 days of the deepest, darkest depression that I ever experienced that I realized that I did it all wrong. That was the time for me to become more involved, to be on the scene more, to discuss my situation more. Don't be embarrassed about it. Believe me, you're not the only person that's going through that. I got a good friend of mine whose father says, John, and I can't say this on radio, but he says it's the same shenanigans, different address.
Right.
Everybody's dealing with the same issues, or we have dealt with the same issues. So be open.
Be open, and we make up words here on Hughes.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
I mean, we can say that on the radio.
Yeah, we'll put it in an Urban Dictionary next week.
No, misery loves company, so make certain that you always choose prosperous company.
Yeah.
I do not sit down and have a pity party with anybody. If I'm in the room and it's 5 or 6 people in there and they're all telling me about how close to death they are and how they're always in dire straits in their business, I will run and never look back. So choose prosperous company. Don't allow yourself to be sucked in. And we talked about being in that orbit. You get sucked into that orbit, man, and it's hard to break out of that.
There's a certain kind of person who part of their identity is wrapped up in their bad life,
right.
Their sad story, their
Absolutely.
sicknesses, their illnesses. I had a lady tell me last week she's struggling with some things, and she said, "My husband is so close to death. He has 5 different illnesses." And I thought, "Oh, you're that person."
And why don't you take that conversation over there?
Exactly.
Guys, this segment has been brought to you by our good friend over at Sales Nexus. It's a CRM system that we use here. And if you don't have any type of customer relationship management tool in your business, you would be surprised how much more profitable your sales efforts could become if you decided to engage in one. Why don't you give Sales Nexus a try? They'll let you test the waters for free. You can get a free 30-day pass to try them out. All you have to do is log on to salesnexus.com, and Nexus is spelled N-E-X-U-S. More in a moment with John Cruz and Bertrand McHenry right here on Cruz and Hughes. Stick around.
Clear.
That's good.
Thank you, sir. You make a mean team, brother. So we
Yeah.
make a mean team.
That's pretty good. Have you had Errol Allen here yet?
No.
Yeah, Teresa?
No.
Those would be 2 good ones.
And I lied to Errol the last time I saw him and said I was going to call him this week. Call him that week of our.
He'll probably be there tonight.
I'm certain.
And he won't say nothing.
He ain't going to say
just feel
nothing.
guilty.
Oh, I feel it now. I don't even want to go to my own event.
He's such a sweetheart.
Man.
He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. She's sharp, but she stays on me.
I bet. Yeah.
I need it now. Yeah, bring Errol
up. He'd be a great guest though.
Yeah.
This week or whatever.
Yeah.
Teresa too.
Get them both on here. We're at the halfway mark. I think I'm gonna pick up at number 4.
Okay.
And this other business will come back. We'll circle back to. We run out of steam. And number 4 was the point that you brought up yesterday.
I saw it. Yeah.
So, I'm going to open that up for you. I know who isn't going to the mark tonight.
Who's that?
That guy.
He might.
I doubt it.
I didn't even know it was tonight.
How could you not know? Steve sends out thousands of emails.
I missed it.
See, the thing is that you've become immune
30.
to his emails.
Maybe.
Like I have.
Because he sent so many.
He sent so many, man, and
they're all frantic.
He has to constantly remind me.
Stand by.
Okay, welcome back to the show, and Bertrand and I are talking about being depressed, small business depression. It's okay if you've experienced that. If you're dealing with it, it's okay. It's just not okay to stay in that state of mind. There's some things that you can do to change your outcome, or excuse me, change your outlook and eventually change your outcome, and those are the things that we're talking about today. And Bertrand, I'm brought to a point that you brought up on yesterday, a really good one that I overlooked, was about getting a board behind your business.
Board of directors.
Yeah, board of directors. Tell me why should I do that?
I think that is such a well, several reasons. First of all, if you're dealing with some depression, get some other people involved. Find some great people. It goes back to your point of hanging around prosperous-minded people, positive people. So find those people in your life who fit a couple of criteria. They're prosperous, or they're on the way to being prosperous. They're positive. They have networks that you'd like to utilize, and you would like to draw them into your network and become friends with these people and maybe partners at some point. Send them an invitation to join your board of directors. That is when you get an invitation like that, it's a very honoring thing when you receive it.
Certainly.
And so it's a deposit in the relationship account for sure. And then people come to your first meeting, and they bring their A game. No one likes to be a part of a losing team. So if they join your team, they're bringing the best that they got. And
they want to make a difference.
I'm on 2 boards right now, and I can tell you, when we go through those meetings, I'm thinking, how can I impact this person's business?
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking, who do I know who would be a good client or someone who could bring lots of clients to this person that I can introduce them to?
Now, let me ask you this. What would encourage or entice you to say yes to someone? What are those things that you have to see in them to give of yourself, give of your knowledge, and more importantly, your time?
I think asking someone to be on your board is not something that you do right out of the gate when you meet someone at a networking event.
Okay.
So
I shouldn't lead with that.
Absolutely not. It is a kind of more of an advanced conversation after you've spent some time with someone. You know you like them.
Mm-hmm.
You know you respect them, and it goes both ways.
Okay.
They're either on their way to being very successful or they already are. And they've got some experience to bring to the table. So it's got to be, it can't just be a manipulative conversation or invitation. It's got to be a real board.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does is it changes your mindset. If I'm swinging for the fences all alone and I'm bunkered down and I've got small business depression, when I bring other people in, it lightens that load for me,
right,
mentally and emotionally.
Oh, no doubt. No, and you know, and you mentioned yesterday about a letter that that you've drafted that could be used in order to encourage someone or even approach them and ask them, hey, I'm inviting you to join my board. And you mentioned that if somebody wants to send you an email and get a copy of that letter, you would share it with them.
I will share it with them, and it's made up of a couple of components. It's the invitation, it's the description of the board of directors, it's why they were selected, it's here are the benefits, and the benefits usually aren't great.
Right.
You'll be a part of our success. I'm going to pay for breakfast every time we meet, so you won't be out anything. I'll promise you we'll keep it to an hour or less.
Yeah.
And we'll get in and out. You can go about your day. I'll be so appreciative, and you'll be on my board until you don't want to be on it anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, people come to that table. We talk about, and you get all these best practices that you weren't even thinking. You have context that I have no idea about, and you bring that to the table, and it kind of upends my world. And so now I feel like I've got all these possibilities that I didn't feel like yesterday when I was swinging for the fences by myself.
And if I could say something to those of you who may be considering sending an email to Bertrand, and Bertrand, you probably want to give your email address.
Sure, it's Bertrand, that's BERTRAND at referralinstitutehouston.com.
And that's Bertrand, not Bertrand.
Not Bertrand.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to spell.
Right, I know. Is that an L in that somewhere? But anyway, it's Bertrand at referralinstitutehouston.com.
Correct.
All right. Make sure you send him an email, request a copy of that letter, thank him profusely for it. But now, let me tell you a couple points that I personally look for if I'm going to say yes to someone in that regard. Number one, I want them to be coachable.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot stand sitting down with someone who is in the worst situation of their life, and all they're telling me is how they know everything that I'm telling them.
Isn't that the truth?
That would be the last conversation that we have, because if you know everything, what can I do for you? Which is nothing. So, not saying that you're that type of person, but I do want you to understand that you're coming to these individuals that have achieved a level or a modicum of this success that you yourself are looking to achieve.
Correct.
So when they share some information with you, don't be so quick to say, oh, I know, I've already tried that.
Be a sponge.
Be a sponge, because if it's made the difference in them, there could be something wrong with your technique, and or there could be something wrong with your approach. If you have tried it, explain to them to the extent that which you've tried it, and ask them, how would you encourage me to do this again, but perhaps do it in such a way that I'm going to have the success that you had.
Or just have a curious mind and say, well, why do you say that? Because I've tried that before and it hasn't worked for me. So what are you doing different that I'm not doing?
That's right. So and the next thing is that be on time. If you're going to get someone to give themselves to you and your cause, if you set an appointment, the worst thing you can do is show up late. So make certain that when you set this time, you get 4 or 5 people that you are impressed with professionally, and they say yes. Make certain that you respect their time to no end, and make certain that you even mention that to them. I would open the meeting by telling them how much I respect time and what time means to me, and I cannot repay you for the time that you're giving me, but I'd like an opportunity to do something for you in return. So
I think that's great. One of the other things that this does is, you're always trying to build relationships. So if I ask you to be on my board and you say yes, and you come to one meeting, I've earned the right to get on the phone every now and then and update you on what's going on with the suggestions you've given me.
Absolutely.
Update you on the contacts you've given me, ask you a question, and that allows me to continue to develop that relationship.
Yes, it does. And as a mentor to someone or as a board member to someone, I would look forward to that type of positive feedback from them. And at the same time, it gives that person the invitation to hold you accountable to the things that are discussed.
Absolutely. And think about this. If they're out in the marketplace talking and the subject of your service comes up, they need a service like yours.
Right.
who do you think your board of directors is going to refer to?
They're going to go straight.
I know a guy.
I got the great guy.
I got the best
or
guy.
a great gal that
Yeah,
can help you
exactly.
out with this. All right. Let's talk about getting a mentor, because I think this sort of segues right into that. Now, the difference between mentorship and having someone on your board of directors, to me, a mentor is a stronger personal bond between two individuals. And now, you tell me what your thought is on this, but I myself feel that you cannot and should not pay for mentorship. Some people sell mentorship.
You know, there's a difference. Coaching is paid for.
But that's not mentorship in my opinion.
Totally different.
I think it's completely different.
You know where the term mentor came from?
Enlighten me.
It came from Homer's The Odyssey.
Really?
And one of the heroes was leaving to go off to battle. And he was leaving a son behind. And he turned to his best friend and said, "Mentor, will you watch my son while I'm gone and raise him to be a man?"
Wow.
Mentor was his best friend's name.
Is that right? Well, think about even the relationship that it takes for you to ask someone of such an important obligation. Right. Raising your son. To me, that's like, you don't just ask anybody at a networking event to show up at your child's christening and be a godparent.
So if his friend is going to raise his son, he's going to father him.
That's right.
So a mentor is almost like a fathering individual.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so my thought process on that is that's something that is not sold. That is not a relationship that's based on any level of financial or fiduciary responsibility. It's someone who has taken you under their wing. You mean something to them. Yes. Your success has become their success.
Yes.
Mentorship is not easy to find.
Right. No, it's not.
And you know what feels worse is when you've asked someone to be that mentor and they say no. I know that can be a little depressing, but it's okay. You'll survive it. But I think even when I have been turned down by individuals who I've asked to mentor me, they are at the very least they have always offered their advice and any level of enrichment that they could give me from an arm's length situation. They've given that to me. But mentorship has to be something that's very special between two people.
I think it's heartfelt. That's what you're describing. It's spirit-filled, kind of an experience.
Two people that I will say that have come very close to mentorship. One is Hank Moore, and Hank has given up his time, his information, his network of contacts. He's given me so much personally. When we got ready to start Small Business Today magazine, Hank was one of the very first people that we went to and asked to be a board member. And he's been more than a board member. He has stepped up and offered inroads to individuals that we normally could not get to return phone calls. And Grant Sadler is another one. When we got into the medical business, we went and talked to Grant, and he just, he opened the doors of information and knowledge, and, guys, you got to do this, you got to do that. And the way in which he did it was very much heartfelt.
Interesting. Do you believe in can you have more than one mentor at one time?
I do believe that, absolutely. I do believe. What about yourself?
I do.
Well, there it is.
We're in agreement.
If you're in need of a mentor, you don't have to stop with just one. And think about it. You could have a spiritual mentor, a professional mentor. But find yourself someone that is looking to make your success their success, and they'll get behind you in any way that they can. Guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to overcome small business depression. It hits a lot of us. This segment was brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. If you'd like to get a copy of the magazine that we produce right here for Houston's entrepreneurs, you can go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.net, put your information in. We'll send you one each and every month. More in a moment with Bertrand McHenry and John Cruz right here on Cruz and Hughes. We'll be right back.
Clear.
You like the gas coffee?
Hmm?
You like the gas
Yeah,
coffee?
it's good. And I'm not a big coffee drinker. No, it's not bitter.
I like the bitter.
Do you really?
Yeah, his is flavored.
No, it's not. Well, he does have some flavored coffees. I just tried just a regular. I'll give you one. I got one. I'm gonna give you a pack of it. Yeah, and so, it was not as strong as I'm used to. But he's got all different kinds. So he's got some that's like really tough to get down.
Really?
Yeah, well, at least that's what Chris was telling me. That they
like
have some stronger.
It kind of stands up.
Right. It's like being in molasses.
Yeah. Deer camp coffee.
Right. You can drink that stuff cold, man. Talking about a pick me
I
up.
I've never been deer hunting. But...
You never been deer hunting? You look like a hunter, man.
Really?
A hunter-gatherer.
I'm not a hunter.
Is that right?
I've been
you got the look, though.
I've been pig hunting one time, and I felt so bad about killing a pig. I just didn't want to do it again.
Really?
Seriously.
Did you eat the pig?
No. I
was with the guy.
I was with a guy they were just slaughtering them because they were overrunning and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I could really get into that. I would eat the boar.
I would do that.
Yeah. But I don't want to kill what I don't.
No, I shot it from across the river because we were riding around looking for pigs, and I was praying, please don't stop hunting pigs. I don't want to do this. And across the pig, he saw us, so I shot one. The pig slid down the hill, went face down in the water, and his legs, as he floated down there, he was drowning. I thought, this guy was minding his own pig life.
I know, right?
I came in here and shot him. And
didn't even kill him.
And I was kind of nauseous. Yeah, I didn't really kill him. He just kind of kicked his way till he probably drowned.
Oh, wow.
That's horrible.
30 seconds.
Then he wanted to shoot turtles and crows. And
no. See, that's too much, man. Now I'm looking at you like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
That's what I'm doing. If I took off running, would you?
I know, you probably shoot me.
I'm just sitting here drinking my water.
What's that?
I'm just sitting here drinking my water.
Yeah, you probably take a bullet to
but you look like prey. Yeah, I would if I was going to eat it.
Say again?
I would if I was going to eat it.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, welcome back to the show. Bertrand McHenry is my co-host today. Irvin is out on assignment. He's doing some work, I think, for the city of Beaumont, if I'm not mistaken. He should be back in the studio on Thursday. So, Irvin, if you're watching or listening, we wish you well. Kick butt out there, and we can't wait for you to get back. We're talking about small business depression, and there are a lot of things that could make you depressed in small business. And I'll tell you, one of the things is not making enough money, and or just dealing with the dealings of employees and managing people, being sued. There's just so many things that could just take the wind out of your sails. Right. But you got to be able to find your rock, your solace, your ability to bounce back, get back into the fray, and do the thing that makes you happy, do the thing that inspired you to get started in the first place. So Bertrand and I are talking about some of those things, and we just left off here in the last segment with Get a Mentor. But now, let's get down to study and read more.
Big fan of it.
Same here. And I really owe a lot of who I am to the books that shaped my mind.
No doubt.
Over the years. When I talk about people who advised me, I would have to use names like Napoleon Hill. I'd have to use names like Earl Nightingale, Og Mandino. I got to use those names because although I've personally not ever met any of those men, the words that they put on those pages has influenced not only my business, but my life.
I've heard it come out of your mouth.
Have you?
Absolutely. Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, some of those concepts, when we have discussions, it flows to the surface, and you're talking.
That's right. And you know what? And it's programmed in me.
Exactly.
And it's just from just getting into it and adopting these concepts and these principles that at one point were foreign to me, and now I've become such a believer in the power of their words that I continue to study constantly books that I've read years and years ago. I still go back, skim through them, look at the highlighted portions. And it's funny how I'm always able to find something different in those words. And I believe that studying and reading more could be one of the things that could lead you out of whatever dark hole you may be in your business.
I 100% agree with that. That it's been said before, where you're going to be in the next 5 years is going to depend on who you hang out with and the books you read.
I buy into that. I mean, I hate to sound like I agree with everything that you say, but so far
I am brilliant.
You're batting 1,000 with me, man. I mean, now, and when you talk about taking some classes, that's one of the things that I'm big on. I owe my first boss a level of gratitude because he forced, I don't want to say encouraged, he's like, it's either your job or you're going to go and you're going to take some speaking classes. And I joined Toastmasters. And it really helped me come out of my shell. It helped me to become more expressive and more detailed and descriptive in how I did business and what I could do to encourage or help someone out. And it helped me with my presentation skills. And I have to think about you and what you teach. I think a small business person should take your courses because just because you may think that you know, it does not hurt to brush up on those skills.
Absolutely. I mean, those skills are huge, and it comes from studying and reading books. And I'm always scouring my favorite sites for the latest classes that are coming on, even public speaking classes. There's a couple of public speaking classes around the country that I would love to be a part of that are about how do you create, more intimacy in a training room. How do you tell stories from the stage and engage people more often? So I'm always.
Well, you're good at that.
Well, okay.
I mean, you had me on the verge of tears one day telling a story, and then you just ruined it when I found out that it wasn't all true. I mean,
it was true. If you're listening, I tell stories, not lies.
What the hell is the difference?
I don't know.
But anyway, I do believe that you are very good at that. I mean, and I like your style, your speaking style. You're very engaging. But even you brush up on those fundamentals from time to time.
I have to. I mean, I think if you want to stay cutting edge and youthful in the way you present and not old and stodgy, you have to always be cutting edge and learning from people who are out there pushing the envelope.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I think the difference between being a professional and being anything other than is mastery of the fundamentals. And at some point when you believe that you have mastered the fundamentals and you don't need to go to practice, you don't need to go and see what some of the other talking heads are doing that's making them so successful. I think that you're ready to exit the business. I mean, you're ready for death at that point.
Yeah, when you know it all, it's over with.
It's over with.
Vince Lombardi won national championship after national championship with the Green Bay Packers. It was before we had a Super Bowl, so it was the equivalent of the Super Bowl. No one could beat him. No one could touch him. At the end of every season, they'd leave. They'd go into the off season. When they would come back, first day of practice, he would hold up the football and say, "Gentlemen, this is a football." And he'd start with the fundamentals all over again.
And that is a football field. And I can only imagine how these guys are thinking, look, I've been playing, football since I was in my grandmother's backyard, and now you're going to start with it. This is a football.
But there's beauty in the fundamentals.
Yes, it is. So as far as fundamentals go, study and read more. Brush up on those old skills. Take some classes. Bertrand's is a great example. His class is a great example for you to look into, as well as some other classes that can help you with your presentation skills. Perhaps you want to speak better. Perhaps you want to be able to manage better. Take some courses. So it definitely does not hurt. All right, let's talk about change.
Change.
And that's a tough word for small business people.
And for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just in the corporate environment, because change is the only thing that's permanent.
Or constant.
Exactly.
I believe that the quicker you open yourself up to the possibilities of change, the easier your entire life transition becomes. This becomes an easier place to live in when you open and accept the fact that things are going to change. I don't run a 4.4 40-yard dash anymore. I don't have a 44-inch vertical anymore. Some people don't even have hair anymore, that once had it. And
not sure how to take that.
but that just constitutes the level of change and involvement that we go through as people. You're going to lose some skills. You're going to pick up some skills. You're going to lose some abilities. You're going to get old. And but accept that and gravitate to the change and be able to adapt and overcome. And I think even in business, you have to have that mindset because nothing in business stays. Imagine a guy that was selling buggy whips.
Oh, yeah.
And fixing wagon wheels.
Right. If he didn't adapt.
If he didn't adapt, he's no longer in business.
No longer in business. He can't express himself in the marketplace anymore because he didn't adapt. And the thing about change is you're describing this attitude of moving and looking for the richness in change, because there's a lot of richness in change.
Absolutely.
Especially these days with this information age we're in the middle of. It's exciting.
And think about how quickly things change. I mean, by the time I get onto a new phone or a new software platform,
2 weeks.
Then it's time for me to learn something new.
Exactly.
So instead of me being the Johnny come lately, I might need to become one of the early adopters.
Yes, we should be. I think that needs to be our attitude.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to overcome small business depression. Guys, if you missed it in the first segment, Bertrand gave some great information on asking people to become a member of your board. And he has a great letter that he would love to share with you. All you have to do is send him an email to, is it Bertrand.McHenry or is it Bertrand McHenry?
It's Bertrand@referralinstitutehouston.com.
Say it again for me, Bertrand.
Bertrand@referralinstitutehouston.com.
Make sure you send him an email, ask him graciously to share that letter with you, and start putting into action some of the things that he and I are sharing with you today on this segment. This segment is brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. Put your information in at smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. We'll send you a free one each and every month. The education continues in just a moment. Don't go away.
Clear.
Where are we in the show? This is it, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that went by extraordinarily fast. Wow. What the hell?
The whole hour.
Wow. That was quick. God is a Verb. DC Talk sung a song several years ago called Love is a Verb.
Is that love?
I have, know how to get that song for Jeff and give it to him.
You should do that.
It's a rap song too.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome. I'll put it up on YouTube.
Love
really
is.
As love does.
Yeah.
I remember he was walking by one time, thinking of something else at Capone's. He walked by and I said, "Love is." He goes, "Hey, what love does?" And he just kept going.
I know, right? I mean, he brought him right into character. That is amazing how fast today's show went by. Thought we had one more long segment left.
That went quick.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Must be that coffee didn't turn me on or something, because yesterday seemed long.
I know. I know, right? Well, I told you, I said, man, I don't want to judge a book, but
yeah.
I'm just not thinking we're gonna get it.
No.
And I really wanted to close him out a segment before.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, but I just
No, he's a nice fella.
couldn't find a way to make it happen.
Yeah. He's a nice
Yeah, very gracious man.
Yeah. But he's a bishop.
Yeah, Bishop, Oscar Payton.
Who's
Bishop, huh?
Who's
Bishop.
Who's it?
Monsignor.
Gotta do your lip at Mons.
Yeah, you gotta, enunciate.
Yeah,
Monsignor.
Driving his bird.
That beer.
30 seconds.
I know. I grew with people who talk like that.
Yeah,
I know exactly
beer.
what you're talking about.
There's an R in it.
Beard.
You ready? Okay, welcome back to the show. Bertrand and I have been talking about 8 ways to getting over your small business depression. And quite honestly, if you've been with us for the entire hour, you know that we've probably given you more than 8. We've been running through these, and already it's the end of the show. But we want to leave you with 2 more. I'm going to say allow your feelings rather than resist them. One thing I can't stand, Bertrand, is a person that cannot get into can't get passionate about something. It's okay to have a good cry. It's okay to have a good scream, kick something, yell. Just don't break anything.
Right.
But get emotional and let that out. Express yourself, and then get back to the business of working on your business. I mean, you'd be surprised at how good that makes you feel.
You mean get over it?
Get over it. Hey, but no matter how you have to deal with it, if it costs me to get emotional, do that.
That's okay.
I mean, it's okay. And you're gonna have days where you're gonna have to do that to keep your sanity.
Absolutely.
You know, but it's okay. Get emotional. Don't just sit there and be a lump on on a log. Get emotional.
And don't decide to stay emotional. Get back to the business of doing your business.
I love it. Absolutely. Stay in that. Now, we gotta just finish with action.
Okay.
We started with action. We're gonna finish with action. Everything starts with action. And so I can't say enough that anything that Bertrand and I shared with you today, you'd be hard pressed to not find your love for your business all over again by staying in action.
Exactly. And clarity comes from the doing.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Bertrand, I think we've done another great show today. I thank you, sir. You're going to come back tomorrow?
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Guys, until tomorrow, we ask that you be smart, be successful, and above all above all else, be in action, and we will see you tomorrow.
Clear.
That was real.
Yes, it was real.
And above all action.
I know, above all action.